Hey everybody, David Johnson here from Spirit Lapidary. The wheelchair guy, guy who plays with rocks and does it from his wheelchair. Anyway, you're out here on my back deck. You can see it. You've seen it before, but you probably never noticed it. And now, you notice there's a little dark board in there. That happens. Why? Because of this. I'll show you. Because of this stuff right here. There's rot on the end of some of the boards, and I've replaced a few of them, and I just thought I'd show you the process of taking them out. This has got the old square-headed screws holding it down. They were a rage for a little while. They worked. My deck didn't blow away. Nothing bad happened because they were there. But now let me just show you one if I can get to them. Alright, there's one of the old square-headed screws. I have tried at least 50 different screws here on this deck and tried to back them out using the square drive. The best I ever get is they break off, but most likely you got to clean the screw out. I've done it with dental picks and stuff. They don't come out and it's upsetting. So I had to come up with a different way of removing boards. I know you can just saw them off. I could take a Sawzall, but I'm only going to replace two sections here. And I'm not going to cut it here. I'm going to cut it here, and I'm going to cut it there. And I got a little chunk of board that's going to fit in between. So I'll show you how I go about that. It's not scientific, it's not breakthrough, but it's something I can do sitting in the chair. Let's see, I haven't checked my batteries. Okay, well, I got a little battery life left. So what I'd like to do is try and make a straight cut. And then I go just so that one will not be behind. Let's try this one. Not much of a mark there, but it's good enough. Love this tool. These things are dangerous. Be very careful. This end will whip out and slice you open, or your wheelchair tires, should you happen to have one, or anything else that's nearby. I've cut a little ways into here. I'm not going to cut it all the way through, but we're going to cut a little more. See, there you can see one of these heads snapped off right there. These old screws, yeah, whatever. Okay, I'm going to show you one more thing you can do. If you're going to have any luck removing the screws, take the same tool and just go around. This one's broke, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, the other one's gone already. That one's gone, but there's one here. Okay, there's that. I made a little U-shape around there. I've had some luck with this, not a lot, but some. Now you can take your vice grip. Yeah, that broke. Most of them are breaking, but some don't. That one broke. That's fine. I can get them later. So, anyway, this piece is almost loose. I got one more. We'll take a look at that one. Yeah, that screw's broke. All right, I got two more. Back over. Now this one I got to cut straight across as well, so I got to be a little careful with these. And try to get your cuts vertical if at all possible. And if you're wondering how far to go down you can go, get this stuff out of the way. You can see I got to go bury it pretty far to get to the bottom of the cut. See if she's loosened up any. Oh yeah, we're almost there. Alright, there's that. Now since that screw's way down there, I don't even try to get them out. I'll just hammer them in and move on. Let's see how the other side's doing. There we are. Alright, that's the hard part, is getting that stuff out of the way. I have had some of the screws where there's quite a bit sticking up, but I've managed to pull them out. These, not a chance. So I got to grab the BFH and do what some of us do best. Yeah, that will be fine. Those will be fine. There. Now, I just got to cut that to fit. Let's do that and let's install this little Hummer. Yeah, there we go. Let's go cut that and then install this piece. That's going to fall down in the hole. I got to move. Yeah, that was going to fall right in. Avoid those mistakes if you can, please. Eh. Alright, we'll get this thing centered as best I can. Something like that. You know, I just want to hold this down with the single screw. I'll drill the rest of them. Let's do that. Now don't worry too much about the color. We're going to stay in this deck this fall for its final time. This is getting to the end of the life of this deck. But we just did a huge project on the house, and you know, we just ran out of money, so we couldn't do this. So thus I'm doing a repair. This I'm using 2.5 inch, these star ones. What is this? A T? I forget what it is. Yeah, T25 bit to put these in. Now these boards were probably the same thickness as these old ones were when they were new. But these have all shrunk. So I had to run these through the planer to get them close to the right size. Alright, so there you go. My old DeWalt reciprocating tool. That did just what I needed. There, DCS 354. So it's a cheap fix, it's a quick fix. The whole point of this was just to show you, if you dish around an old screw, you can get a vice grips on it and pull it out. And I've had luck with several on the deck here, but it just didn't work out this time. But you could see what I was trying to get at. And I do have one more board to do, but I got to go buy some more lumber, and it doesn't fit in my van, so that'll happen another day. Alright, so there we are, from that to that, to that. I think it's going to be a pretty good improvement. I'm going to stain this deck, hopefully before the snow flies. We'll see. Things are busy around the house here, so I have a lot to do. But that solved the problem of the squishy board, and yeah, I've only got a couple more to do, but I got to go buy some longer lumber in order to do it. So the whole point of this thing was to show you another use for your reciprocating tools. These things are really neat. People are finding all sorts of things to do with them. If you dish around that screw, bum, 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 like right there, you might be able to get a vice scrape on it and turn a screw out if you can't get a bit in the head of the screw. So I've done quite a few here successfully. Unfortunately, these all broke off because they're old and rusty. That's life. So if you found it interesting at all, give it a thumbs up. I'd appreciate that. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see some more weird and interesting stuff. Watch a guy in a wheelchair try and get stuff done. Yeah. Until next time.